A huge football weekend is here. Eric Schmidt joins us to preview UND heading into the conference play. Plus, we'll get you ready for all the high school games set to go tonight. Hot Mic starts now.
I like what Dom's doing.
Okay.
Dom Izzo.
Jeez, come on, Dom. What do you think I am, a magician?
Yeah, I'm fired up, Dom. What else could I say?
Absolutely. It was great to get on the field, and then Dom came up to me, and I'm trying to walk away from me. I just wanted to enjoy myself out there.
Hot Mic.
Great job.
There's got to be some kind of intelligent question about something.
Coach Dom Izzo, WDAY in Fargo, North Dakota.
Can you give me a layup or something?
Hot Mic. Presented by Northwestern Mutual.
That program is second to none.
On the networks of WDAY.
You know, if it's not about sports, I find it very hard to concentrate.
Here's Dom Izzo.
Good Friday morning. Welcome to the Here We Go edition of Hot Mic on WDAY Extra, KSFL TV. Good morning, everybody in Sioux Falls, KNBN in Rapid City, and Inforum.com. Happy Friday, everybody. Final one of the month. As the football coaches would tell me, it's the final Friday of the week. Beautiful outside. Holy cow. If you're heading to a game tonight, you're in luck, man. It's going to be dynamite as we get ready for the weekend. Good morning, everybody. I am Dom Izzo, host of said show. Welcome to Hot Mic on this 26th day of September, final day of the week, and we are ready to roll for what's going to be a dynamite weekend. Looking forward to some Bison football we've got for you tomorrow, North Dakota State and South Dakota for homecoming. We've talked plenty about that this week. We'll get you ready for that coming up later on in the show. We got a litany of games to get ready for on the high school scene. We previewed the biggie yesterday across the river with Maple Grove coming to town to take on Moorhead. We'll chat about a couple other North Dakota games on the schedule as well coming up over the next 2 hours. We'll also chat some baseball. It's Friday. We have 2 visits left with our guy Cory Provus. Today from Philly, great spot to end the regular season. Unfortunately so for the Twins, it doesn't matter. It hasn't mattered for a while. But we'll get Cory's thoughts on Twins picking up their first series win of September. That happened yesterday as they knocked off Texas and matching up with the Phillies. I imagine that Yohan Duran will pitch sometime over the next 3 days. Philadelphia is still battling with Milwaukee, and we'll get to the updated baseball standings here in just a little bit. So that's coming up. And, of course, it's Friday, so you know we're going to do some NFL picks to wrap up the week. So looking forward to what is going to be a packed show here today. Lots to unpack. I mean, as I'm sitting here already, and I'm trying not to get too emotionally attached to it because I've already got my emotions hanging on a thread with the Mets for the next 3 days. But the Ryder Cup is underway, beginning this morning. Coolest thing ever for a sports nerd like myself and many that watch or listen to our show, when you can turn on the television at 6 o'clock in the morning and there's live sports going on, especially what was the scene at Bethpage in Long Island where the Ryder Cup is being contested. Unfortunately, I have nothing good to tell you about it because we're getting our butts kicked to start. The European, we did this dance a couple years ago when we were following it live on the air. It ain't great so far, which I wish I had better news. But this is what happens. Seems like almost every time with the United States facing the Europeans. Right now, we are up in 2 matches, which has changed, and the other 2 is literally being destroyed. Scotty Scheffler, the best player in the world, is down 5 in his match. Colin Morikawa down 4 in his match with Harris English, who can't hit it inside the ropes. Other than that, things are great on what's going on out in Long Island right now. You got something for me? Welcome back after your day off, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. We're only up in 1 match.
We're losing now?
We're
even the website is even updated now?
Yeah, I have it right here. We're up in the bottom. We're up in the Shafley and Cantlay match. Everyone, the Ramen Hatton is destroying us by 3.
DeChambeau's getting crushed by Justin. That's great. That's awesome.
Russell Henley can't find a fair way to save his life. He went to the Dom Izzo School of Golf, apparently.
That's not good. All right, so that's great. Even I thought on being on home soil might change things, but apparently not so much. So we'll keep you posted on that throughout our extravaganza this morning. Let's get our show started with Week 4 of the NFL last night. NFC West matchup. The Seahawks playing the Cardinals out in Arizona. Arizona lost a heartbreaker to the 49ers last week, last-second field goal to give San Francisco the win. Seahawks have been pretty steady so far. They destroyed the Saints their last time out, and that was the backdrop for the game last night. Cardinals are wearing their new rivalry jerseys. The helmets are pretty sweet. I'll give them the nod on that. As for the football game, it was all Seattle to start. Our guy Sam Darnold, right on point. Touchdown pass there to A.J. Barner. It's 7-3. Marvin Harrison Jr. is struggling right now. This is just typified what's going on for him. Can't come up with it. Seahawks come up with a pick. He tried to catch the ball about 3 separate times. It ends up with a Seahawk interception. And they're going to turn that into points. As that barrel into the end zone. It's a 14-3 Seattle lead on the Zach Charbonnet touchdown run. We pick it up now in the fourth. It's 20-6. The Cardinals finally get going. Murray hits Harrison Jr. there. That's a fantastic catch. That's why they drafted him 4th overall. After the Seahawks miss a field goal, it's 20-13. Here comes Arizona. That's a dynamite one-handed reception to keep the Cardinals on the field. Now we're under a minute to go. 2nd down and goal. Murray hits Amarai Demercado in for a touchdown from 7 yards out. It's tied up at 20. Now in the ensuing kickoff, the Cardinals try to get cute here. And this is the first time we've seen now with the short kickoff. It didn't land in the landing zone. It's a penalty against Arizona. So the Seahawks get better field position. Darnold hits Jackson Smith and Jigma with a great throw. Better catch. Why can't the Vikings find quarterbacks like Sam Darnold? I've been waiting to say it all year. That was a bullet. So Jason Myers, who missed earlier from 52 yards out, it was fading, but he gets it through. Seahawks win it at the Horn, 23-20. Second week in a row that Arizona loses at the buzzer. They lost 2 games in 4 days at the Horn. That's tough. Cardinals fall to 2-2. The Seahawks are 3-1. Darnold goes for 242 and a touchdown. Nice game on the ground for Kenneth Walker. Murray with 2 picks. Tough day for him. He just can't beat the NFC West. His record against NFC West teams is not, I think he only has 2 wins in his career. It's not good. But Seattle at 3-1. We'll see what happens. The 49ers have a chance to get to 4-0. We'll talk about that coming up later on in the show. But a good week to start, good game, to start week 4 of the NFL slate. Now, while that was happening, the rest of us baseball nerds were following what was going on in the final 4 days of the season. So here we go. So yesterday, Wednesday night, the Dodgers clinched the National League West. So that's all set. And with the results yesterday, we now know Padres-Cubs is going to be a first-round best-of-3 series. We don't know where yet. It's either Chicago or San Diego. So spots are starting to firm up here. What we don't know, though, in the American League, craziness there because Detroit and Cleveland are battling out for the AL Central crown. Now, entering yesterday, the Tigers had lost 8 in a row. Only the Mets can lose 8 in a row in September, but Detroit was ready to join the party. Cleveland had passed them. The Guardians, after their win on Wednesday, had taken over the AL Central lead. Final game of the series was last night in Cleveland, and the Tiger Bats finally woke up after being asleep for 8 games. They got 2 early home runs. That ball was crushed from Wangel Perez to make it a 2-0 game. Then Riley Green launches one nearly into the second deck. It's a 4-1 Detroit lead. Here comes Cleveland, though. Jose Ramirez batting in the bottom of the 8th. Delivers one into the gap in left center. That's going to score a run. Makes it a 4-2 game. Tiger bullpen, though, with Kyle Manzardo up. They got Finnegan from the Nationals. Gets a big strikeout there to end it. The Tigers finally win a game. They beat the Guardians 4-2 to snap their 8-game skid. So here you are as you wake up this morning. The Blue Jays and the Yankees are still tied. Remember, Toronto has the tiebreaker on New York, so that's why the Blue Jays currently hold the top spot. The Mariners, though, are coming on strong. Seattle has won the American League West, and they're just a game back for the top overall spot. And now Cleveland and Detroit are tied again, but the Guardians have the tiebreaker on Detroit. And look, the Astros are just a game back. Red Sox and Tigers play a series starting tonight in Boston. So nothing is guaranteed here. Only thing we know is Texas is out. They were eliminated after the Twins beat them the other night. So that's where we're at in the American. If things were to hold like this, it would be Guardians, Tigers, Yankees, Red Sox in the best of 3 next week, with the Blue Jays and the Mariners getting the bye. Meanwhile, in the National League, anybody who watched this show certainly knows where things are at there. The Mets started the day up by 1 on Cincinnati. The Reds are playing the Pirates yesterday. They had lost the first 2 games to the Pirates. This base hit gives Cincinnati a 2-0 lead. It's a 2-1 game, top of the 9th inning. Pirates at the plate. Eovaldi Marte back at the wall, reaches over and makes a fabulous catch. Robbing a home run. That's a home run that would have tied the game. Instead, it wins it. That's our old friend Emilio Pagan. Remember him giving up 8 home runs a game for the Twins? The Reds win it 2-1 to snap their 2-game losing skid. So, the Metropolitans knew that, playing last night against the Cubs. Craziness here on the top of the first inning. Dansby Swanson is going to make a fabulous catch, but he goes out of play. And they award Francisco Lindor home plate because Swanson went out of play to make the catch and didn't get the ball in before falling out of play. It was all controversy there. They give the Mets the run. It was a fabulous play, but it's a 1-0 New York lead. Brandon Nimmo will deliver for New York here with a base hit. Puts the Mets up 2-0 after that. So you got Nolan McLean, your rookie right-hander, some runs. Lindor has been huge in September. This is crushed into the Chicago night. Mets are up 3-0, feeling good of what the score is. They would pour it on later in the 4th. Brett Beatty up, left-hander with 2 men on. He goes the opposite way for a 3-run home run. The Mets are up 6-0 in the 4th inning. Of course, it wouldn't be that easy because the Cubs had to make it interesting. They got a couple of home runs, make it 6-2. Tyrone Taylor delivers, though, with a base hit. That scores 2 runs. The Mets would need all of them. They got up 8-2 at that point. The Cubs would cut it to 8-5, but the Met bullpen was stingy after that. Edwin Diaz came in to shut it down, and the Mets win 8-5. So, with the Pirates falling to the Reds, Cincinnati remains a game back of New York for the final wildcard spot. The Diamondbacks lost to the Dodgers as well yesterday. So Arizona is pretty much dormy here. They have to win out, and the Mets would have to lose out for them to leapfrog. But that's the wildcard race. The National League, the top division winners are already clinched there. And we mentioned the Cubs and Padres have clinched. So it's 1 spot, 3 teams for 1. The Mets play the Marlins this weekend. Who do the Reds have? They have their Brewers, right? Are you playing anybody this weekend? Can we count on that at all?
Yeah, we're playing the Reds. We're still playing. You got to realize.
But I mean, you're playing your
We're
guys.
still fighting for the number 1 seed.
We need your guys to help us out this weekend.
I mean, I guess
Can't
you guys
believe
don't have
we
the
missed
tiebreaker.
No, we have nothing.
That's a bummer.
We have nothing. Diamondbacks are playing the Padres, who are playing as well. So at least you've got teams that aren't in the tank. The Marlins were officially eliminated yesterday, but the one thing I can count on as a Met fan, the Marlins love to eliminate the Mets. They did it 2 years in a row in 2007 and 2008. I sat right over here and watched Tom Glavine give up 8 runs in the first inning of the final game of the season. All the Mets had to do was win, and they would go to the playoffs. They lost. Coast Phillies go, and they win the World Series. That's all you need to know.
I'm just thankful I don't have to sit next to you on a plane when the Mets are playing the Padres this time.
Yeah.
Because my arm is still pretty sore from that beating my arm
That was
took
3 years ago. It's over.
Yeah, it's still pretty sore, though.
It's
I mean,
over
that
and
hurt.
done with. That's where we're at with the baseball standings heading into the final days of the season. Going to be dynamite for those that follow. When we come back on Monday, we will know. It's an off day Monday, and then the best of 3 series begin on Tuesday. So we'll know the baseball bracket, I would hope, by about 5 o'clock Sunday night. All the games, I believe, start at 2 o'clock on Sunday. Baseball trying to copy soccer, what they did a couple years ago with that. It works when you have tight races like we have in the National League, at least, going into the final weekend of the season. We have a packed show coming up for you here on this Friday morning. We are guest-heavy. Coming up in just a few minutes, UND head football coach Eric Schmidt will join us. Bye week for the Fighting Hawks. They come in at 2-2. You could argue they could be 4-0. They have had a really nice start to the year. We'll talk with Schmidt about the first 4 games. Getting ready for Valley play. UND opens with Northern Iowa a week from tomorrow. Our guy Cory Provus will join us from Philly at 9:35 to give us the update on the Twins as they get set to wrap up the regular season. A couple of injury notes as well. Joe Ryan goes tonight. Is this the last time we see Joe Ryan as a Twin? It's a legit question. We'll talk to Cory about that coming up in a few minutes. In our 10 o'clock hour, Velva head football coach Matt Weidler will join us as the Aggies off to another great start. They're at 3-1, right in the hunt in Class A, ever-changing Class A. With Kindred and Castleton gone, Langdon's there, Kildare's off to a nice start, Velva's there. We'll talk with him about that coming up at 10 o'clock. And at 10:35, we'll wrap the week in style with my dad's NFL picks as we get ready for a full Week 4 with the Steelers playing the Vikings to start off the Sunday slate with that game in Ireland. So that's coming up before we wrap up the show. We'll also dive into a full preview of all the high school football games that we're keeping an eye on in 3A and 2A, and we've got our ticker going with all the games going as well to get you updated on that. So that's our show lineup here on a busy Friday. We'll take our first break. Hot mic off and rolling. We're back after this on WDAY Extra, KSFL, KMBN, and Inforum.com. Welcome back, everybody. We're off and rolling here on a busy Friday morning. Cory Provus joining us about 15 minutes. Give us an update on the Twins. Week number 5, can't believe saying that, of the FCS season officially gets going tomorrow. We got no FCS games tonight. Ivy League doesn't start till next week on Friday. We know the Bison play tomorrow against USD. That's the Valley opener. For North Dakota, their Valley opener a week from tomorrow at Northern Iowa. They have their bye week this weekend. Head football coach Eric Schmidt is in parts unknown, like the ultimate warrior, we can say, from parts unknown, traveling this weekend out recruiting. Goes a few minutes in between stops here. This life on the road, right, for a head coach. There's no off time, even if it's an open week, right?
Yeah, great time to be able to get out and watch some high school football. So appreciate you having me on, Dom.
All right, so 4 weeks in, tell me how you think. They're watching from afar. I think I can sit here and be the guy and say you could be 4-0. You agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of teams, everybody's fan base or however you want to spin it, you can make it look that way. I think I do think the last 6 weeks here, since fall camps, and we've really got to invest in football. I think there's been a lot of improvements on our teams, especially I think you feel like you have a pulse, and then you go out and play, and just when we got on the field at Manhattan and watched our guys move the football and compete and really do a good job. I felt like on both sides of the ball of playing clean and matching up. I just felt like, hey, that there's definitely been some improvement. Now we got to be able to take another step here. You have to play a complete game and play a little bit better at situational football. But I do like the positions that we put ourselves in 2 pretty hostile environments. I think you continue to do that throughout the season, you're going to win more than you're going to lose.
Coming off the field in Manhattan, did you think we might be better than I initially thought? What were your thoughts when you left the game at Kansas State?
Yeah, I mean, I don't put I think that's sometimes that's what your fan base and fans are awesome, but they're fanatical, you know what I mean, too, as well. It's why you call them fans, and people want to make assessments and all those things after one game. I think, obviously championship teams have to do it throughout an entire season. And, I was, the effort, the energy, the focus, I think, those things were really good. We didn't beat ourselves. We weren't, heavily penalized or anything like that. So I think there was definitely some signs of, what I think a disciplined, good football team does. And there was some maturity in the locker room too, as well afterwards. So there was some good signs there, but we've got to keep doing it week in and week out here. I mean, I know that's coach speak, but I mean, especially as you get into Missouri Valley Football Conference play here now, we'll find out, in the next 2 to 3 weeks, like who are the teams that can do it consistently.
Jerry's play through the first 4 games, Eric, how would you evaluate how Kaminsky's played in your opinion?
I've been really pleased with him. I think that was the one thing, like getting on the field in Manhattan and watching him operate, where I was very happy. He's taken a step, just playing really confidently. I think, that was really the reason that we went with Jerry is, he had an extra year in the system with Coach Frichte, and just listen to him and Isaac talk to each other. It was, just next level conversations. He had been through it an entire year, and to his credit, we talked about this before, but a lot of kids, just as they go through their career, they want things early on. And he probably wasn't ready a year ago, and needed a year to be able to evolve and get better. And to his credit, he put his head down and went to work and got better. And, you lose that competition a year ago, and then to win it this year tells you a little bit just about what's inside of Jerry Kaminsky.
Is that rare in your football experience of a guy that loses the job but then comes back the next year and wins it? Is that happen more frequently than we know?
Great question. I think, the interesting part was, having Simon in the room yet, too, as well. And then adding Javance too, as well. I think, it's probably a little bit more common just, with a younger guy, when you're talking about, hey, freshman versus junior or freshman versus senior, at that point, I think you're obviously different in your careers as far as, where you're at, along. In the system, where you're at physically, too, as well. I think mentally he wasn't ready yet for, just for the speed of the game and things like that. He just needed time to be able to grow. And, to his credit, I think you want to be ready. When you get those times, you get those opportunities, you want to be ready. And he's really done a good job here the first 4 weeks of like you said, answering the bell here, playing consistent football, taking care of the football, and then being a playmaker, not only with his arm, but with his feet too, as well.
One thing from watching your team from afar, Eric, it seems like you guys are faster. How much was that a noted thing in the portal of addressing players that we got to be quicker? Is that been apparent to you as well through the first 4 games?
Yeah, I think so. I think that would be a fair assessment. I think especially in the secondary was something that we felt like we had to be able to run and hit better than we had in the past, be able to cover ground, be able to match up on good receivers and on good tight ends and those things too as well. So I definitely feel like, we've charted things here now, missed tackles and block destruction and things like that we can get better at. But I still think we can get better at some of those things too as well. But as far as like explosive plays, guys doing a good job of being able to stay on top of receivers, forcing teams to really methodically move the ball down the field. I think, it's hard to do that on offense. Sooner or later you're going to get off schedule, or the defense is going to make a play. You're going to get behind the chains, and then the defense is going to find a way to get off the field. And I think our guys have done a pretty decent job of that, of running and hitting and getting people on the ground when they've had opportunities to.
Give me the backstory on getting B.J. Fleming to Grand Forks, and has he even surpassed what you thought he could do through the first 4 games?
No, he really hasn't. We think he can get better yet. That's something that we've been impressed, from day one as far as his speed. You do a lot of homework in the portal and talking to people, strength coaches, different people from Northern Arizona about, hey man, this guy's got he's got a lot of talent. It was just a matter of, I think, the relationship piece, like really digging into who BJ Fleming is and what he's about. And I think our coaches have done a great job of that. And now we're trying to get him to go to even another level yet. He's shown glimpses, and he's definitely a guy that we want to be able to get to the football to. And the next piece of this too as well, Corey Ty has been, in certain weeks has played well. Our tight ends have definitely been a bigger part of our offense here too, as well. Early on in the season, we have to continue, to develop other weapons yet in our offense and become even more diverse than we have the first 4 games.
I know you got to get going here. I'm just curious, would you like to be playing this weekend, or do you need the bye? I know sometimes you get a good groove going, like, yeah, we want to keep going, or was this welcome for this weekend to not play?
Yeah, no, I think it came at a good time for us, Dom. It's a natural separator between the non-conference and the conference season for us. 4 weeks in, we've been grinding on these guys pretty hard since the end of July. We had an extremely competitive, training camp, not only at the quarterback position, but at a number of defensive positions too, as well, that were, relatively up for grabs. So with those things, there's a lot of physicality and those types of things. And we want it to be hard, and we want to continue to practice that way, throughout the entire fall here, manage our guys. But yet, that's how you get better, is being able to go out every single day and work on your craft and make sure that you're doing a good job of competing at a high level. So I do think for our guys, just to be able to, catch their breath here for a day or two. We've had, 4 really good workouts this week. We'll go again on Sunday, and then get ready for Northern Iowa here, because, that's them playing in their dome is definitely, a challenge, regardless of, what's happened here early in the season. Like, you watch them play at home, and they've played pretty well the first 2 games at home and won both those games at home. And we've got to be able to go on the road and play tough and play physical and be able to handle, a 4-quarter game. So yeah, I think it's come at a pretty good time for us.
Thanks so much for doing this, bud. I know you're traveling this weekend. Safe travels, and we'll talk soon, okay? Thanks for doing this morning.
Yeah, no problem. You have a good weekend, Dom.
Thanks,
you.
Bud. There he goes. Eric Schmidt joining us from parts unknown, traveling on the recruiting trail. UND head football coach. Fighting Hawks open up. He's dead on about it. We'll talk about this next week, about that game. The first 3 for UND. Northern Iowa, Youngstown State, at SIU. You got to win 2 of those 3. You just flat out have to. If you're going to be considered a playoff team, considered in the mix in the Missouri Valley Football Conference, you cannot lose to Northern Iowa on the road, and you got to beat Youngstown at home. I'm not so concerned. Maybe Youngstown's better, so maybe that game we should be, although UND is good at home. But that game next week in Cedar Falls, we'll remember 2 years ago, they slapped the Bison around, and then the following week they got shut out at Northern Iowa. You just can't have that. If you're going to be a legit contender, you got to go down there and take care of business. And Northern Iowa isn't. They just lost to Utah Tech. We talked about that on Monday's show. Northern Iowa isn't what they were, and that place isn't what it was 4 or 5 years ago. We'll see. We'll talk about that coming up next week. We'll break now. We'll shift gears and talk some baseball. We come back. Cory Provus will join us as the Twins get ready for their final series of the year in Philly. That's coming up when we come back.
Deep to left center field. Back it goes and gone. The 0-2 pitch. He struck him out swinging at 101. Swinging a drive. Left field and deep. Back it goes and gone. And the Twins walk it off again.
All right, it's Friday at 9:35, which means we get to visit with Cory Provus, the voice of the Minnesota Twins on television. His appearance is brought to us each and every Friday by Welton's Tire Service. The Twins are in Philadelphia, one of the great American cities, to wrap up the 2025 regular season, which is crazy because I figure we just got started doing this each and every Friday, and here we go at the end of September. The only thing it's got to be gnawing at you is that these games don't matter for the Twins. They do, but they don't in terms of playoff positioning.
Yeah, Joe Ryan's pitching tonight, and so it's going to be a playoff atmosphere just because that's what Philly is right now, and that's how their fans are. It's a great place to watch a game. Loud, intense. They can be vicious to the opposing team, but that's part of it. I love coming here. I think coming here for a baseball game is a bucket list item. And I don't think it's the equivalent of a Vikings fan going to see the Eagles play where there's, that walk to the stadium could be downright dangerous. That's not, I don't get that feel here. Even coming here all these years when I was in the National League with the Cubs and the Brewers, and I never got that feel. I just think it's a great place to watch a baseball game, that I think these fans are into it. Home field is a big deal here. So I love coming here, and for Joe Ryan, this will be as close to a playoff experience as he'll get, pitching in the atmosphere tonight.
We went through the National League rundown off the top of the show, Corey, but Philadelphia's playing, they need to win out, and they need the Brewers to lose out to get the number 1 seed.
Yeah, that's all that's left here. I mean, Philly's going to I guess Philly hasn't technically locked up a bye just yet, or I don't know they have. I have to think about it because I know the Dodgers were playing yesterday. So, but Philly's only chance to be the 1 seed is to win out, and the Brewers have to lose out. Milwaukee holds the tiebreaker over Philadelphia, and the Brewers are home against the Reds. So either one Milwaukee win or one Philly loss, and then the Phillies pretty much are going to be locked in as the 2 seed. Now, they're going to have a bye, most likely, and because of that, I don't think they're going to sit their guys this weekend. I don't think they want to sit their guys and then have them not play next week because they don't play it for a lot. So I think those guys are going to play, certainly until we know for a fact if they're the 1 seed or not. Maybe if Milwaukee clinches tonight, then Saturday perhaps maybe is a bit of a rest day. But then Sunday, I would expect all their guys are going to go on Sunday.
For the Twins, they go and win a series yesterday against Texas. Another big day for Byron Buxton with a couple of home runs. And, I want to finish our conversations on Buxton with just it's been great to see him out there. He's produced. You hope that can you carbon copy that and take that into 2026?
Justin Morneau had a good line yesterday. We were just chatting kind of casually up in the booth with a few of the Rangers broadcasters, and Morneau's of the belief that he thinks Byron is going to be healthier these next 3 years than he was the prior 3. Because of the offseason that he had prepping for 2025, I think that proved to him that I'm healthy. No doctor, no surgeon is holding me back from my workout. I can do what I want, and my training regimen is right, and it works. That I never heard him say it that way until yesterday. But I get there is some logic to it, even if that speed slows down just a little bit, and it's still among the best in the game. He'll be 32 though next season. But yeah, Morneau's of the belief that what we have seen is not just going to go away. Just an awesome season. And I'm not following all these incentives that he's hitting. That's important to him and his family and all that. And that to me is not something that I'm studying and looking up. I found out after the game that he hit another one. And great. I'm happy for him and his family. He deserves it. And I just enjoy watching this guy play, and hopefully he's going to be a top 10 MVP, selection. And I think he's garnering so much attention nationally because of only if he was healthy. This is what we could have seen more of. Well, we didn't, but we're seeing it now, and let's enjoy it.
It's a great point that Morneau made, and I thought about that as well. And you're just mentioning that, maybe his best is still to come. We thought maybe we missed out on it. Maybe it's the next couple of years we get to see what we saw all of 2025.
Yeah, and I think so, but also part of me, and this was on, I think we talked about this last week, is he going to be back?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't know what this is going to look like this offseason. And, I think if the Twins trade Pablo, then the likelihood of Byron Buxton coming back, I think, drops considerably. That's on my mind a lot. As I'm kind of watching, these games here this weekend, I can't help but think in the back of my mind if this is the last time that we're going to see him as a Twin. I hope not. Yep. He's awesome, and I know he loves it in Minnesota. His family loves living there. He's been a Twin his whole life, and I've thoroughly enjoyed getting to know him and his family. So I hope it's not the case, but it's certainly in the back of my mind as I watch the weekend play out.
And that was in the back of my mind, honestly, to talk about for tonight's starter. Is this the last time we see Joe Ryan pitch for the Twins?
I mean, Joe is under team control. I mean, Pablo and Byron I put in a different column. Joe is very affordable, and the Twins, are benefiting from the system that's set up right now. He's under team control for 2 more years, so he's arbitration eligible for 2 more years. And he hasn't had a great finish to his season, which I don't know if does that help, enhance, hurt his trade value right now. I don't know that. But I am of the belief that I hope that Joe Ryan, I think he's somebody you keep, and he's somebody that's affordable right now. You need a frontline guy. And he's that. I mean, Joe was an all-star for a reason. I think tonight is a big one for him to kind of not have this September just kind of sit with him and stew in his mind all off season. And the starting pitching's been great on this road trip. I think it's great to see the finish for Zebby and Taj and then Bailey yesterday, despite throwing only 88 miles an hour. It worked. It really worked against a beat-up Texas team. And I think for Ryan tonight, this is an important one. And one of his guy he looks up to is Aaron Nola, and Nola's pitching tonight for the Phillies. We talked about Jacob deGrom as a guy that Ryan's always been a huge fan of. He wouldn't say I'd love to say he's my friend. He's not my friend, but we've met over the years. All-Star game this year, but Nola and Zach Wheeler, who's done for the year, those are two guys here in Philadelphia that Joe Ryan particularly admires, looks up to, and picks their brain.
I thought of you immediately when I saw Luke Keeschall slide the other night, and then you guys had a great angle of him. He's immediately in pain because that's how Alan Roden got hurt and was done for the year, and Keeschall's hurt again, which this is a lot for a young man who's dealt with some serious injuries already at 23 years old.
Yeah, and it's the same injury Byron Buxton had his rookie season as well, that slide to the second base. It just So if you notice, Keeschall wears the oven mitt on his right hand, and there's a reason for that. That's more for pickoff plays at first. That if you're leading, you're diving back in, you want to get that right hand on the corner to avoid the tag. So that's why that sliding glove is on his right hand, not his left. I don't know many guys that wear oven mitts on two hands. I think that would look. I think of my best friend, one of my buddies, Adam Shine, from school, who does a lot of football. He's got this segment he used to do on CBS Sports Network. It'd be like the hot stove or whatever it was called, and he wore two oven mitts. Right, this would be like, it's hot. He'd clap his hands, and so I don't think I could keep it together if I saw a big leaguer with two oven mitts kind of running around, almost look like Phoebe from Friends. That would just be weird. Keeschall wore it on his right hand, not his left, but it just looked the speed, the impact, and his reaction. He was in pain. You could see it from the start, kind of biting at his thumb, shaking it, and then that next at bat when he bunted twice, he couldn't swing. Yeah. He could not swing the bat. And I think that was, all right, that's it. I mean, I think they gave him one time, interesting call, but when Rocco and the staff saw him show bunt twice, and then he laid down the second one, and then Martin got hit in the rundown, I think that was the red flag, like something's up here. Let's see what you got. And it seems like surgery is likely. It's a 6, 7, 8 week setback, but it's not everything happened on his right arm in the past, the fractured forearm. Tommy John was on his right. So this is on his left. It will slow down his offseason training, his offseason program, but hopefully not too much.
Are you worried long-term just the amount of injuries he's had? Is that something that the Twins should be worried about, that the amount of injuries he's had at just at 23?
I mean, what can he do about the fractured bone?
Yeah, he got hit by a pitch.
I mean, there's nothing that he can do about that. And I think he's not the first nor the last young player that's going to hurt the thumb, a finger sliding. Yeah. Luis Arias hurt his shoulder doing that. Eddie Rosario. All these guys, I can think of just 5 guys on the top of my head the last 14 years that I've seen in a Twins jersey slide and hurt themselves somehow, some way, and then bounce back. I'm okay with these. It's more of like the soft tissue stuff that's impacted Royce. That to me is more alarming when it's a recurrence of soft tissue injury, because those just stick with you, and those don't seem to go away. Whereas these are just, I think, acute. I don't call them fluky because I think Keeschall plays hard. So to say that he's just going to be able to maintain this style of play and come out scot-free all the time, I think is a pipe dream.
Let's break. We come back. Much more with Cory. We'll chat about the division races going on across baseball and getting ready for the final 3 days of the regular season. Back to wrap up hour 1 of Hot Mic on a beautiful Friday morning right after this. All right, wrapping up our first hour, back with Cory Provus in Philly. Twins and the Phillies coming up tonight, just before 6 o'clock at the great Citizens Bank Park, just my all-time. Have you done the crab fries? I can't recommend it all. I know you're busy, you can't eat before the game, but the crab fries out in center field, Chicky and Pete's, do it, man. Find time and do it.
Yeah, that's a heavy meal for me, buddy. Pregame. That sounds great, and I'm tempted often by so many of the ballpark delicacies that I see, but I
hear you.
I can't eat that. So I'm a very light eater pregame. I don't. If I was going as a fan, I don't think I'd sit. I think I'd want to hang out. Yep. That concourse in the outfield,
fantastic out there,
is so fun. Yep. It's so energetic. And I love that they play the song. Harry Callis sings High Hopes, right? I love that, playing that after wins. Yeah, that's pretty cool. It really is a great place. And I can't imagine, I've never seen a playoff game there before, but I can't, a playoff game there has got to be among the better things to see in our game. And the Phillies, they've got all the pieces to win it all.
I got an email to ask. You're too much of a professional to do this, but Dom, can you ask Cory if he can is he saying any phrases that people may not know, just to test if they're actually watching the broadcast?
No, that's a good idea. We do twice now the last 2 years from our social media team. They do ask the players. There will be a game they pick out that the social media team picks out and be like, hey, can you? Or it's really a series. Can you they'll ask, players, what word do you want Cory to get into the broadcast? Yeah. So we've done that now in back-to-back years, and that's fun. And there's some weird ones that are in there. Yeah. And I think people have figured out what that game and what that series is because they're so random. But yeah, so no, I am not doing any of that. But, I'm not oblivious to the fact that I'm sure that outside of my parents and my kids, probably, actually my son, I don't think my daughter watches, but my son's watching. But yeah, I'm not oblivious to the fact that I'm sure not as many are tuning in as they were earlier in the year.
All right, so on the American League Central, I think you and I had a conversation on this in July that we declared the Central race over. How stunned are you that this is a race with 3 days to go?
It's incredible. I mean, this is the biggest collapse in the history of the sport. I mean, they had a 15.5 game lead. And right now they're tied, but the Guardians have the tiebreaker. And Cleveland is set up. I mean, Texas, they're all beat up, and we just saw them. I mean, Texas is going to Cleveland for 3. And the Rangers, they're not going to throw DeGrom anymore. DeGrom's done. They don't have a lineup anymore. I mean, no Seager, no Semien, no Langford, no Carter. Adolis Garcia, he's pinch hit the last 2 days. Now, maybe Bochy approaches it differently because, Cleveland, there's something to play for. I don't know, but they have some good bullpen arms. Don't get me wrong, but that lineup, they can't hit. And so I think Cleveland is set up. Meanwhile, Detroit's got to go to Boston.
Yeah.
They got to go to Boston. And the Red Sox they're I don't think they've clinched yet. Oh, they did clinch. They did not. Did they
I don't believe they've clinched yet. They lost yesterday to Toronto. So.
Okay. So the Red Sox, they've got a lot to play for, both securing a playoff spot and potential seeding here and there. So, yeah, I think Tigers, they're probably going to have to pitch Skubal on Sunday, right? And so that's going to mess up how they line up a short series. It's stunning. It is absolutely stunning what's happened to the Tigers. I mean, they lost 27 out of 39, but they didn't have that kind of lead. And so the Tigers, if they miss the playoffs, that's a massive story.
Well, you mentioned it to me several times. If the Tigers lose Skubal starts, they're not going to make the playoffs. And the other night against Cleveland, they lost a Skubal start, and that's might doom them in the end.
They've lost their last 3. They've lost the last 3 Skubal starts.
Man,
they've lost the last 3. And you know what? They're almost going to. I was thinking about 2008. I was with the Cubs, but watching what CC Sabathia did in Milwaukee that year, he was pitching on 2 days rest, whatever he could do. And he was a free agent at the end of the year. They knew they weren't going to keep him. Went to the Yankees in 2009. Sabathia was pitching on 2 days, 3 days, whatever was needed to get them in. I think Skubal, if you need me tonight out of the bullpen, fine. He's got to be ready to go any way possible here. If that's something tonight, starting on Sunday, they're going to have to lean on that dude a lot.
National League, it's 3 teams for 1 spot. Mets, Reds, Diamondbacks. Who makes it in your mind?
I think the Mets are still going to get in. I still think the Mets are going to get in. Cincinnati's got to go to Milwaukee, and I don't know about that. Although Hunter Green, I'm sure Hunter Green's lined up to pitch at some point this weekend with the Reds, and he's been fantastic. Where does Arizona finish?
They have the Padres.
Where, at home?
No, that's in San Diego.
Oh, forget it. Yeah, San Diego, that's a tough place. I think the Mets are going to get in. Okay. I think the Mets are still going to find a way to get in. And then, I'll tell you what, I wouldn't want to play them.
No.
I wouldn't want. I mean, Juan Soto's had an awesome year. I just, with what they did last year, their postseason magic and Lindor, I wouldn't want to play them in the first round of a short series. They proved last year they can find a way to do it. And, I don't really watch much playoff base. I'll watch the Brewers. I'll watch the Cubs here a little bit. But there's some intrigue this year. I think it's really open. I mean, I think it's wide open. I mean, the Dodgers, somebody has to beat the Dodgers in October. Just somebody has to beat them before I can say they're out. And can Milwaukee, just what they've done, will this play in October in a way that we haven't seen before is going to be fascinating. American League, I would have said Toronto about 3 weeks ago, not right now. Yeah. And, if the Red Sox get Roman Anthony back, he's a great player. But Seattle's got something going there. And Brian Woo's injury doesn't look too serious. But the Yankees lineup is deep. They got great starters. I mean, it really is. I think it's going to be a fun fall.
Last thing before I let you go, appreciate always you doing this. We're going to do one more next week. If the Cubs end up playing the Brewers, how's that going to go for you if that ends up being a potential matchup in the division series?
I mean, in that case, I do pull for the Cubs. But if that's the case, then I do cheer for the Cubs just because of, where I grew up. But I don't really lose in that situation because whoever moves on, great. But yeah, if that happens, I normally pull for the Cubs in those head-to-head matchups.
It's going to be great to see the final three games of the season. Have a great call to wrap up the season. We'll do one more of these next week, okay?
Sounds good, Dom.
Good to see you, bud. There he goes. Cory Provus joining us from Philadelphia. Twins and the Phillies coming up tonight, 5:30 from Citizens Bank Park, all time. I love that play. I've been out there, more than 6-7 times. I was humble brag here. I went to the World Series for work when Coast was on the team. Electric. I mean, I'm telling you, off the charts. Provus is exactly right. Last year, watching the Mets-Phillies play in the division series, unbelievable. It will be again, even this weekend. It's Joe Ryan and Aaron Nola tonight to start off the final series of the year for the Twins. Honestly, if I was a betting man now, I'd say enjoy Joe Ryan tonight. I don't think there's any guarantee he's back with his team next year. I just don't. We'll break. We come back. We'll start our second hour of the big Football Friday. Get you ready for a First Down Friday. Velva head coach Matt Weidler will join us. The Aggies are rolling again. That's coming up when we come back.
This is Hot Mike.
Hot Mike.
On the networks of WDAY.
WDAY.
Here's Dom Izzo.
Welcome back, everybody. Hour 2, we're rolling here on a Football Friday. About a half hour from now, we'll do some picks with my dad to wrap up the week in style. We got our Eliminator picks in. We are only down to, Eric, how many we got left? 5? 5 of us are left to win the Eliminator, and unfortunately, we have to give a Ryder Cup update because we're getting our butts kicked already out in New York. That's coming up as we roll on. But it is a Friday night. High school football taking center stage across the state tonight as EDC, WDA play opens in the big schools. We're looking forward to that. And region play going on all across the state. Class A, interesting times now. We talked about this before the season began with Central Cass moving up, Kindred moving up. What's going to happen in Class A football? Well, the usuals are at the top. Langdon's pretty good, and our next guest team is pretty good. Velva, Garrison, Drake, Animus, the defending state champs in Class A, out to a 3-1 start. Head coach Matt Weidler joins us here on this Friday morning. Great to see you, bud, after another good start to the year. I'm interested knowing what you lost, but bringing back some good amount of talent, but also knowing you can get everybody's best shot. How's the team handled that so far in 2025?
Pretty good. I think, we suffered the loss early, and I don't know if it's always, obviously you're trying to win the game, and sometimes it's not best to lose, right? But I think our guys have learned from that. If we can learn from it, and we have, and so have I as a coach and our staff, maybe what our strengths are, and we've adjusted some things here the past few weeks to, we feel has benefited our team, maybe a little more heavy in the run, 12 personnel, 21 personnel. I like our guys that we did have return. We've still got 11 seniors on our team after losing 10.
Yeah.
And for us going into the year, we knew we were going to be okay up front just because of the number of guys we had returning. 4 starters and a fifth guy coming back that suffered a knee injury early. So, we've started to lean on those guys a little more here in the past few weeks in the run game.
When you lost the game to Harvey Wells County, is that something in the locker room saying, all right, boys, we've got to figure this out? Like, describe what that was like after the game a few weeks ago.
Well, it is, and I think we do get a lot of the team's best shots going into it, and our guys need to understand that. And you talk to them, but there's a lot of new guys playing new positions, and positions starting. But it's for us. We knew Harvey was going to be good. That's why we always get them on the schedule. They got a really good program. They're coached really well, and give them credit. They gave us a lot of fits defensively, and we struggled offensively. I like the way our defense played, and they played really good all year. But it was just back to the drawing board. You're only in week 2, and there's a lot of season left, and for us, it's just getting in the conference play and trying to take one game at a time there and get those wins there.
When you were going through camp, knowing full well what you lost, describe that who's going to be the guys? Just how was that difficult, challenging through fall camp of determining who's going to be your guys out there this year?
Not really. We had a pretty good idea. I mean, we had a pretty good off season, and our guys had a pretty good summer, and we go to a team camp every year at Dickinson State. We've been doing that for about 25 years. So we had a little bit of an idea who's going to play where. And then as the season goes on, you find different playmakers, so to speak, and adjust your schematics to where we can best utilize our talent. And then it's just trying to build depth. And we've had a couple kids, I don't know, surprise us, but get ahead of the curve a little bit earlier than we thought. So that's been good for us too.
To have that loss, I mentioned you talked about maybe not necessarily a good thing, a blessing in disguise, but how's the team respond? Certainly you've won the last 3 games since you had the loss.
Yeah, they've responded really well. I think our preparation has been really good. I think our attention to detail maybe has been a little bit sharper in practice, and that's on us as a staff too. To make sure those guys are locked in every day. But at the same time, I tell the kids, this is your guys' deal here too. We need you to do your part as far as film study and taking a leadership role as far as getting our younger kids rolling. So it's been really good. Our guys didn't waver a bit after the loss. It was back to work, and that's what I like to see as a coach.
For you as a coach, knowing, okay, we're the champs, people are going to come. How do you handle that, knowing the kids are obviously thinking about it? For you as well, all right, there comes with a price of winning a state championship like you did last year.
Yeah, I guess for me, I don't try and change week to week. It's just trying to, get your message across that we would like to play into November, and what does it take to get there? And it's getting better every week. And it's kind of seems like a cliche, but it's true. What can you do as an individual, whether it's a coach or player, to get yourself better? And then as a group collectively, how do we go about getting better each week? I think, and it's so hard, you're limited with time every day in practice, and you got guys going both ways, and there's only so much time. So, we did maybe go back to 15, 20 minutes of practice and cutting some things short, but to get back to the fundamental or the details of whether it's ball security or just tackling and things like that I think that's helped us here the past few weeks as well.
I got to ask, we were talking about it before you came on air, and you're as a coach, you're in it, knowing full well what was going to happen with Class A after last season of this. How are you I don't know either. How did you approach it, not knowing what teams were gone and who's going to be good this year in your division?
Yeah, it is a little different. Obviously, Kindred, Castle, and Allen, they've been really good the past few years. But I think statewide, a lot of teams had a lot of seniors, so it's kind of, you don't really know. we don't get a lot of crossover. You don't see as many teams, just because of how it works. Like,
Right.
Langdon's really good this year, and I kind of thought they would be just with the number of guys they have returning. I think I do think Class A is going to be really interesting here the next 8 weeks as you try and get down to the Dakota Bowl, like who's coming out. I think, and at the same time, when you got a lot of new faces, like any team from week 1-2 is not going to be the same week 4-5 and 7-8. Everyone's changing, whether it's from injuries or just getting better. So, I think there's a lot of big games left to be played within our class, and it's going to get interesting.
Is that good? Scary? A little bit of both? What are the emotions on that? Like, it's just the unknown of not knowing what's to come.
A little bit. I mean, it's one of those for us, and like our conference has been really good this year, so we're trying to get ourselves in position, and obviously get in the playoffs. We got a little bit of work left to do, but get yourself in position, and then from there, there's teams that have went on the road for 3-4 games and made it to Dakota Bowl, so it's kind of just getting a chip in a chair, so to speak, and get yourselves an opportunity at a chance to go.
Has the Gage Florence statue gone up in Velva yet? Can you confirm or deny that?
Not yet, but it could be close. He had a phenomenal career. I'm so proud of him. For me, it's like I got to figure out a way to get down to one. They've been just how it works, and my kids. So I'm going to get to one here in a couple of weeks. But Gage has been an extremely hard worker since he was little. It was, what he's done is unbelievable. But to me, it's not a surprise just how hard he works, and he. For the number of catches he's had, he's an extremely unselfish player. He have a game where he has 17 and he goes for 3 the next day, but you sit and watch him on the field in his games, he doesn't change. He's excited for another teammate to catch a ball. So, I'm hoping they keep throwing the ball to him, and he's got a little ways to go, but he's going to get close to that D2 record.
Well, and think about that. I mean, the guy who could have the all-time Division II record for receptions. You coached. I mean, you got to be over the moon on that.
Yeah, you sitting back, look now. Maybe we should have threw him the ball more. Played running back. We used.
What are you doing, right?
Yeah, we utilized him in the past game, but we had, just talking back then, we had a pretty good idea he was going to get moved to just by the way he moves and his stature. So it's been great, and. He's definitely fallen into that role as a receiver and gotten better each and every year.
How much is that doing? I know we talked last year with Ben getting his opportunity with NDSU, that you have a guy like Gage to go and do it, to say to your current team, this can happen with hard work and you mentioned a chip in a chair. You can have a chance to do that.
Yeah, it is. And our guys, you find out early who really loves the game and wants to play. And we do have a handful. We'll have a few this year that'll continue on to play, and I think that'll continue. The nice part is, there's a lot of opportunities for North Dakota kids just within the number of schools here. And I think, whether you're playing Division I, and everyone probably has that goal of Division I, and you see you can read the writing on the wall, but, college football's football, and there is a lot of good guys maybe playing NAI D2 that could go play Division I. It's just getting that opportunity and then making the most of it. And that's what Gage has done. And we Jersey Selzer starting at quarterback, and Cordier is a guy that's kind of put in his time in his 5th year, and so that's exciting there. And a number of guys. Hank Bodine's actually playing right now at Western Carolina. He's games already, and so it doesn't look like the red shirt's going to be on him the rest of the year. So it's been good for us. A lot of football being watched on Saturdays.
Well, I was going to say, you got 2 guys here in Concordia. You got to get over here, man. What do you do? You got to get out of the Moorhead and watch a couple of your guys.
Yeah, I actually went and watched Jersey's first start there on September 6th against Mayville. We got out. It worked out good being a night game, but we'll get to one of Gage's here, probably the one down in Bismarck and maybe in Mankato at the end of the year.
Well, I know last year, signing day in your gym, you had 5 guys sign. Just that is uncommon in your level of football. How big a deal was that?
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Pretty proud, that those guys continued and earned those opportunities. It was fun. It was fun being able to coach those guys. There was a lot of things you didn't have to coach. It was hard work, and there's some talent in there, but they've earned that right to get down there, and it's been, and I've talked to all those guys, and it's adjustment for some of the young guys, but they're really enjoying it, and it's good, and represent Velva, great kids, great student athletes. So we're really proud of all those guys.
What has Ben Shep told you about his first couple months in Fargo with the Bison?
He said it's a grinder. It's a grinder. It's
Did you tell him you know?
Yeah, right. No, he's enjoyed it. It's the work that goes into each and every week, and he's really enjoyed the coaching staff. He said, and the players, like they've all got one common goal, and you can tell. And it's been good for him to get down there. He hasn't bothered him being away. He was down there early in June, so he's enjoying it. Just the learning curve and the speed is a little bit of an adjustment. So, the red shirt's good. He knows he's got a lot of work to do left.
Last thing before I let you go, and I really appreciate you doing this on a game day. Do you have a superstition or tradition you do before each game yourself? Like either you don't come out to a certain time. Is anything you have like that?
Yeah, the only thing I usually do is we'll send 2 different groups out to the field. Our specialists will go do some things, and I'll usually come out 6-7 minutes after that. Just walk, it's about a 4 or 5 minute walk out to the field. So I usually just walk out there by myself. It's a time for me to kind of collect my thoughts and think about different situations that might come up. And, that's about the only thing that I do as far as pregame ritual.
Yeah. How special is a home game, though, tonight? Like tonight, whether it's going to be dynamite, just a night game, home game tonight, what is it that for people that haven't experienced a game there that will happen tonight?
Yeah, it is. It's exciting. For us, it's homecoming this week, too, so there's a little added flair to there. Community's great. They got tailgating going on before the game, and the great crowd on hand, especially when we get at home. Our crowds travel,
awesome,
but when we get at home, it's pretty good, and our guys get excited about it. So, for us, it's trying to continue to get as many home games moving into October and November as we can.
It's great to see you, bud. Thanks so much for doing this. Good luck with the Ray Jays tonight, and we'll talk soon, all right?
You bet. Thanks, Dom. Appreciate it.
Good to see you. There goes Matt Weidler joining us. Velva Drake Anamoose Garrison, head football coach. Velva's 4-1, rolling again in Class A football. They've got Ray at home tonight. Again, we had Josh Kravachka on the show, head coach at Langdon before the season got going. Cardinals are 5-0. No, I don't want anybody in Killdeer to get mad at me. Cowboys are having a dynamite year. I tried to get Killdeer lined up a few weeks ago. Couldn't make it work. We'll get that because they're rolling as well so far this season. But it is a different deal, honestly, looking at Class A and the last poll that came out, and you see, Trinity's good again, and they're always there. But without those 2 heavyweights, it just opens everything up. And it's kind of interesting to see who's going to fill that spot. Killdeer has been one of them so far in 2025. Our thanks to Coach for giving us a few minutes. All right, we'll break. We come back. I've got the lineup of games to get us ready for a great night of high school football. A bunch of emails to get to, and unfortunately a Ryder Cup update is coming on a Friday morning. Hot Mic rolls on after this. Welcome back, everybody. Friday morning show rolls on here. Got picks with my dad coming up in about 10 minutes. Got a bunch of emails pouring in here, so let's get to them. Anything I see highlighted Mets, I'm not going to read. Dom, with the Mariners clinching one of the first 2-round byes, do you think they should sit Cal Raleigh out for the series finale with the Dodgers, or do you let him play and take a shot at Aaron Judge's 62 home runs? Let the man play. Baseball's different. You can't sit guys. I'm never a fan of that, especially if you're off for a week, like Milwaukee's going to be, like Philadelphia's going to be, the Mariners, and likely either Toronto or the Yankees. You cannot sit for 6 days and then go out and, biggest games of the season, then expect. I don't think so, regardless of the record. But I would go out there, like Ted Williams said, you got to go out there and do it. Because he could have sat and they would have rounded up to 400. No, he went out there and played and got, I think, 3 hits and ended up hitting 401. Go out there and do it. That's what I'd like to see. On the Ryder Cup, Dom, the Europeans have dominated alternate shot matches forever. They play the format as youngsters. whereas most Americans have never even heard of it. If the USA can come out of day one down 5-3, they would be happy. Well, right now it's 3-rip, and the last match going is tied through 15 holes. Now, foursomes, for those that don't follow golf, that's alternate shot. 4-ball is best ball, which they'll do in the afternoon. But alternate shot, I mean, that's literally these guys. The Europeans have just a different deal, and for some reason it's not carried over to the Americans, where golf is such a singular sport, and then this for once every 2 years you got to play as a team. And I guess I didn't know, Eric, is our captain playing? Is Keegan Bradley a playing captain too, or is he just captain?
No, he's just a captain.
Okay, so because that was the scuttlebutt, was he was going to play, right?
He thought about it, but
maybe he should have.
Well, based on what we need right now,
Holy
yeah, maybe.
cow.
But I don't know. Maybe we need some of these live guys to come back, like
Dustin Johnson, he can't hit it inside the fairway right now, though. No, isn't he?
Well, I don't know. I don't pay attention to live.
No one watches live golf, but that's the problem with it.
We need like a Jordan Spieth. Like, you got to stop going with the. I get it. The top 6 earn their way, but there needs to be better captains picks.
Yeah, well,
and I mean, Luke Donald, I don't think he's played on the tour all year.
Yeah.
Maybe we need Tiger Woods to be the captain to figure this out.
So who's not playing this morning here? Ben Griffin. I couldn't pick him out of. J.J. Spawn won the U.S. Open. I know him. Cam Young's pretty good. Is Schauffele playing this morning?
Yeah, he's playing right now.
He's in the match with Cantlay, who plays slower than molasses. You can't have Scheffler lose like he did. Scheffler got beat handily. They lost 5-3. That's the equivalent of like 35-10 in football. You just can't.
Well, his playing partner wasn't hitting it very well this morning.
Again, what happens there? Let's do one more email before we get ready for the football weekend. Dom, I'm sure I don't need to remind you which team has eliminated the Mets from the last couple of pennant races. Hint, something smells fishy. Yes, it is the Marlins, 07 and 08, and that's who the Mets have this weekend. I am acutely aware of that, of who New York has coming up this weekend. All right, let's get you ready for high school football games around the state. In the big classes in 3A and 2A, we've got league games finally. The non-conference is done. It starts tonight with EDC and WDA play. West Fargo Horace off its great win, beating Legacy. They've got Fargo North tonight on the north side of town. Shanley is number 1 in the state. It's always fun when Troy Mattern and Jay Gibson get together. That's the scene tonight out in West Fargo. Game we've got tonight on WDAY2, Cheyenne and Davies coming up at 7 o'clock. Davies had a big win. They took care of Bismarck last week. Now Cheyenne, remember how they won last week, getting a 2-point stop to beat Mandan. That's the matchup going on in South Fargo. In the WDA tonight, Mandan at Century. Patriots, I'm telling you right now, by the end of the year, we're going to have them in the conversation, I think. Mandan's still looking for its first win. Century got a big one last week over West Fargo. Bismarck is at Minot. The Magi are still looking for their first win. That's two teams, there's nothing needs to be said when they match up. And Legacy will try to shake off its loss that they had to Horace. They go on the road to Williston. Those are the Spotlight 3A games going on tonight. Again, it's these games doubly count now, so it's conference matchups. In 2A, unbeaten Grand Forks Central comes south to take on Fargo South. Homecoming there with a 5 o'clock kick tonight. Kindred is at Red River. The Vikings just keep on rolling. We'll see if the Riders have anything in store for them tonight. Wahpeton goes for its first win. They're on the road in Castleton to take on Central Cass at 7 o'clock. Watford City and Dickinson playing out west there between the Wolves and the Mavericks with a kick at 7 o'clock. Jamestown at Devil's Lake. Devil's Lake has had a nice run to start the year as well. Let's keep our eyes on what's going on with the Firebirds, who are 3-1. And Minot North is at St. Mary's. Minot North is yet to lose at 4-0. St. Mary's comes in at 1-3. Currently, right now, you have 3 unbeaten teams in 2A football. Central's 4-0, Kindred's 4-0, Minot North is 4-0. If you start looking ahead, which we can do, football coaches will yell at us all the time, you got to take one at a time. For Kindred, the rest of the way, they've got Red River tonight, South next week, and then they go to Central 2 weeks from today. which might be the early candidate for Game of the Year in 2A football. Central, you remember a couple years ago, made it to the Dakota Bowl. We had Jake Schauer on the show a couple weeks ago discussing his team's quick start. That's going to be a dynamite game. And Minot North has beaten all challengers so far. They have played everybody on their schedule and have handled everybody on their schedule so far. They came out here and beat South. They beat Red River. They've got the rest of the way, St. Mary's, Watford City, they play in their own conference here. So they do not play Kindred. They don't play Central. You can take 6 of one, half dozen the other on that. Maybe it's good they don't play because then they can match up for the first time in the postseason. Or did we get deprived of a really good regular season game? To me, I'm going to go in the former half there. Like, let's have them settle it when it really matters, playoff game, first time matching up. Because sometimes when teams play twice, it's like it happens I see it in FCS football all the time, and it's going to happen again this season, where a team that buys and play in the regular season, we can sure as bet on it that they're going to see them sometime in the postseason. But that's the big school games coming up in North Dakota. Highlights of most of those coming up on First Down Friday tonight on WDAY Channel 6 at about 10:15. All right, we'll break. We come back. It's that time to pick some winners. NFL Week 4. My dad's coming up. His Yankees are heading to the postseason as well. I'm sure he'll gloat about that. And the Steelers are playing the Vikings this weekend. When Hot Mike returns on the other side of the break.
And if you'd have went with a Boston, you'd have been living in the garage. I had a Yankee hat on, of course, which I usually almost always do, but she says to me, if I were you, I'd take that hat off. And I looked at look at it to begin with. I ain't taking my hat off. I know where I am. Yeah, right.
You believe anything that guy says? Because I don't.
He said he was going to marry J-Lo, too, remember? Come on. I finally told your mom. I said, there's no sense. Let's just put TVs in the room because I'm only going to wake them up anyway. So
that's how I got a television?
All right, here we go. Final half hour of our week, which we end in style with my dad with his NFL picks for Week 4 of the season, which got going last night with a dandy. You want to give us some inspiration? Our golfers are getting their brains beat in. Europeans are killing us.
I don't understand why can't the live golfers play? They won't let them?
It's a whole deal. Well, you got to qualify first because I think most of them don't earn enough points to qualify. DeChambeau's the only one because he plays on the live tour, but he's got it's a whole thing, Dad. Golf's messed up. So.
I thought they'd have it straightened out by now.
No, we're a ways away from that, and
I guess so.
We're getting our brains beat in on our home soil here
in New York. They can play both if they want to?
No, you got to play one or the other. You can't play the PGA and LIV. You got to decide. So, and the guys that played LIV have been banned from playing. It's so dumb. It's been going on literally for 3.5 years now.
But they make more money playing the other one, right?
Correctamundo. They make a lot more money.
Well, there you go.
So here we go. We got 3 days left in the season. Okay? You have no idea who you're playing yet. You could win the division, your Yankees, or you could get Boston, or you could get the Tigers, or the Astros.
Let it happen. We're ready. The way we're playing right now, let it happen.
Yeah, here we go. I know it. It's September. Yankees are 8 of 10. They are red hot.
And most of them, they come from behind to win. That's what you want.
So you got Baltimore.
They've definitely got the bats working anyway.
So you got the Orioles for the last 3, and Toronto's going the wrong way. Toronto has been running away with it. Now there they go.
Who's the guy they got from Houston? It's whining.
George Springer.
Yeah, telling the so why don't you just let the Yankees win? He's such a whiner. He can't cheat no more, so he has to just throw stuff. Crazy.
He's speaking for all of us, by the way, that are non-Yankee fans. That's what he's doing. So I appreciate that.
He's whining. That's what he's doing.
Fantastic right now.
Yeah,
but
just let him win. Why don't you just give it to him?
The Blue Jays have the tiebreaker, so you got to outright beat the Blue Jays here over the last.
I wasn't sure. I figured they had the tiebreaker, but that's we're in.
You're in regardless. That's the deal.
Yep. Let's play.
So it could be Yankees Red Sox come next week. It could be Yankees Tigers. Could be one of the Yankees Astros in the first round. Who knows? We're going to find out come Monday. It's going to be fun.
Those are best of 3, right?
The first round is best of, unless you guys win the division, because then you'll get a bye. Because the Yankees have that. So that's the potential.
Well, we had the bye last year, didn't we, or no?
Gosh, I don't remember now. Yes, I believe so. I believe you did. Yeah. So
let's keep playing.
Meanwhile, the National League will be either the Mets, the Reds, or the Diamondbacks for the last spot. The Mets have a 1-game lead with 3 to go. You don't want to know. You don't even want to know. Yep.
No, I want the Mets. I want the Mets in there.
Oh gosh, yeah. Well,
you gotta root for New York.
Got to be agonizing over that. Before we do our picks, Eric asked me already. You got to give your NASCAR pick for us here before we get going. So what do we only got a handful of races left here.
I think it's going to be one of the Gibbs cars. The way they're going at it.
Really?
Whichever one Ty Gibbs don't wreck will win the race. I'm going to go with Denny Hamlin because I think he's gonna.
Okay.
He's got to secure his way in, but.
Okay. Well, we see who is up here.
If his teammate wrecks him.
Well, Eric made a nice graphic for you and everything of who's available and who's moving on. So there you go. All right.
Yeah.
Races in Kansas City this weekend. They like racing there?
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. They're 3-4 wide all the time.
Okay, so that's Sunday.
It should be a good race.
Sunday at 2 on USA for.
I do believe in the spring it was 3 wide right to the end.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
So before we go here and get going, remember your beloved Steelers are playing. It's 9:30 your time in Ireland against the Vikings to start the week.
Steelers.
Well, I already knew who you're going to pick, so.
Plus, they're getting points.
They are. The Vikings are a 2.5-point favorite against the mighty Steelers in that one. What'd you think of Carson? How he played on Sunday?
He did all right. He didn't get in trouble. Did what he's supposed to do. So.
All right.
But look who he played too. So.
Did you give us our record before we get going to picks? How'd you do last week?
8-7, I do believe.
What?
Yeah, the 1 o'clock games killed me.
Oh, man, you're losing money for us here. Come on, let's go.
No, you still made money, 8-7. That was terrible.
All right.
1 o'clock games killed me.
Yeah, there was a guy. Well, we'll get to the Packers in a minute because they killed a lot of people and how that game went down with Cleveland. So, all right.
I can't believe they scored 10 points.
Well, all right. We already know he's taking the Steelers plus 2.5 against the Vikings in Dublin to start. That's NFL Network, by the way, for everybody back here. That's not on Fox. It's NFL Network.
That means I get Rich Eisen.
No, it's Joe Davis and Greg Olson. They're really good. They are excellent.
Yeah. What happened to Rich Boy?
They're doing another. I think they're doing the following week. So you're not an Eisen guy?
No. No way, shape, or form.
I hate to tell you this, but there are some that think your son is the same way. I don't want to hear that guy.
I'm sure. I'm not one of them, but I'm sure they
I appreciate that. All right, let's do some picks. Commanders are at the Falcons. Sounds like Jaden Daniels and Terry McLaurin may not play for Washington. Atlanta is a favorite. They benched Penix. Your guy Cousins came in and quarterback last week.
Yeah, I think he's gonna pull this one off. So
Atlanta's a 1.5-point favorite against Washington.
Atlanta.
He's got Atlanta plus. All right, we got 2 underdogs to start
our
picks this week.
Who's Commander's quarterback?
Marcus Mariota.
Again, okay, yeah. That'll be a good one.
All right, Atlanta minus 1.5 against Washington. Holy cow, look at this spread. The Saints are at the Bills. Buffalo is giving 14.5. It's actually went up to 15.5 now.
Yeah, I was going to say I got 15.
Holy cow.
Give me the Bills. I think
they still cover. That's a huge spread. Buffalo.
But the Saints are just terrible.
Buffalo, and the Bills are good. Browns are giving 9.5 to the Lions. Detroit with a great win Monday night in beating the Ravens. The Browns, of course, they stunned Green Bay. Detroit minus 9.5 at home against Cleveland.
I think Green Bay stunned Green Bay. Give me the Lions.
Are you a believer in Detroit now after what you've seen?
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
All right.
I think they just had a bad first game.
Yeah, that's tough. Green Bay got them in week 1.
Yeah.
Panthers at the Patriots. New England is a 5.5-point home favorite against Carolina, which shut out Atlanta last week and ruined plenty of eliminator picks.
Yeah, he did too. Give me the Pats.
New England minus 5.5 at home against Atlanta. The Chargers are at the Giants. The Giants have benched Russell Wilson. It is Jackson Dart, the first-round quarterback, that'll start for the Giants. The Chargers are 3-0, minus 6.5, going all the way to New York.
They throw this kid right into the fire on one of the best teams in the league. Why would they do that?
I think because Daboll, did you see the end of the game? Russell Wilson airmailed 3 guys? That's why.
I think he done it on purpose, man. Yeah, give me the Chargers.
Chargers minus 6.5 in that one.
They're gonna cream this kid.
It may not go
I hope
well.
not. I hope he lights it up. I really do.
Eagles and the Bucks, both 3-0. Tampa, how did they beat the Jets? They came back and beat New York. Philadelphia minus 3.5. This Tampa beat the Eagles last year down there. Remember?
Yeah, I know. I can't believe it's only 3.5.
Yeah.
Give me the Bucks.
Tampa Bay plus 3.5 in this one against the Super Bowl champs. Somebody's got to win. The Titans are playing the Texans. Houston is a 7.5. Well, as Dad would say, no, they could tie. That's true. Houston's given 7.5 against Tennessee.
That's the idea of the half. Give me the Texans, man.
Texans minus 7.5 in that one. Colts and the Rams to the late games here. Indianapolis has looked great. The Rams feel like they should have beat Philadelphia, but had the field goal blocked to end the game. The Rams, I know. The Rams are minus 3.5 in this one. This should be a good game.
Yeah, I'll take the Rams.
He's got the Rams minus 3.5 against.
The Colts really haven't beat anybody
No,
yet.
they've racked up wins on bad teams so far. Jacksonville is at the 49ers. 49ers are unbeaten without their guys. Everybody, Kittle's out, Purdy's out. They still win. San Francisco's minus 3.5 against Jacksonville.
Give me the Niners.
Niners in that one against Jacksonville. Ravens at the Chiefs. Somebody's going to be 1-3. Either Baltimore or Kansas City's going to have 3 losses, and we're not even out of September yet.
I'm really hoping it's the Ravens. give me the Chiefs.
It's because you hate the Ravens.
I do.
The Chiefs are a home underdog. Think about that.
I know.
Holy cow. Kansas City is getting 2.5 there.
They gotta get their people back.
Everybody's out, and they're not coming back anytime soon. So
that'll help.
The Bears are at the Who's going to watch this game? The Bears are at the Raiders. Yikes. Vegas is a 1.5 point, basically a pick 'em for this game in Vegas Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, I'm going with the Bears.
Okay, Chicago plus
they finally look pretty good.
They look pretty good against Dallas.
They haven't looked good since that Hail Mary game.
No, that was a year ago.
Last year, yeah. They haven't
looked
looked right since then.
They beat the Cowboys last week. Sunday Night Football. This will be a good one. Packers, Cowboys. Micah Parsons going back to Dallas. Green Bay is minus 6.5 against the Cowboys.
Dallas just can't look any worse. They're terrible.
Well, they beat the Giants.
I'm going to go with the Packers again.
After they got you last week, you're going right back to them. All right.
Yeah, well, they're playing the Cowboys.
We got 2 Monday night games this week there, buddy boy.
Why is there 2 again?
They want the viewers. I don't know who's going to watch the game on ESPN. The 0-3 Jets and the 0-3 Dolphins.
I tell you, they're killing the NASCAR ratings. The NFL is just killing it, man.
Anybody goes against the NFL, they lose. That's the way it works, man. That's why
they gotta cut their season down to end when the football starts.
Really, you think so?
There's 36 races. It's way too many.
That's a lot of races.
Now they're going to stiff them on Daytona. So
Miami minus 2.5, by the way, in this game that you're so interested in.
Give me the Jets.
Whoa!
Jets. Jets.
Finally. I don't know. We haven't won in Miami, and you know this? Here's a stat. You may want to change your pick. The Jets haven't beaten the Dolphins in Miami since 2014. That's 11 years. That's a long time. Jets plus 2.5.
They're
due. We're due. On Monday Night Football on WDAY at ABC, Bengals at the Broncos. Denver minus 7.5. That's a lot of points against Cincinnati.
Yeah, that's the best bet of the weekend. Right
That's the
there.
lock for you? That's your
The
Stone
Denver,
Cold
yeah.
lock? Okay.
Yeah, give me
Got
Denver.
All right. There
I'll
they
put
are.
I'll put a little star next to that one.
That's his Stone Cold lock, folks. Is the Monday Nighter with Denver. There are the picks. You could probably get some good money on the U.S. to try and come back and win the Ryder Cup right now if you want to go do that after the show. So
I haven't even looked to see what the line is.
it's probably pretty good money on the Americans now after that. So
why they're spanking us?
Yeah, we're down 3. Well, we're down 3 matches already, but we're up in 1 playing the 18th. So we have a chance at least to win one. So, all right, buddy boy. Have a great weekend. I love you. And Bison minus 21.5 tomorrow against South Dakota. You want that action?
Yeah, give me South Dakota.
Okay, he's taking USD plus 20. I think so too. I think that's too many points.
It is loud, only because of the points.
All right, brother. I'll talk to you later.
All right, man. Love you. Have a good one.
There he goes. My dad with his picks for this week. He's taken this. Eric, we have to double check. I don't think he's taken the Jets in a year. He's got the Jets plus 2.5. We'll take our final break. We come back. We got our Eliminator picks and get you ready for a dynamite sports weekend. Hot Mike will wrap right after this. All right, wrapping up the week in style. Holy cow, been a great week of shows. Looking forward to the weekend. See everybody up at the Dome tomorrow. Looks like we're going to have a dynamite weather day and excited about tremendous sports week. This is what you'll sign up for. You're a sports fan, you got everything. Baseball races down to the wire. It's a full weekend of college. We got Alabama, Georgia. You got Penn State and Oregon playing tomorrow night. We got the Little Brown Stein, Idaho, Montana. Stay up real late for that one tomorrow. Vikes playing early. Then you get the rest of your Sunday. Let's go. And when you say let's go, let's see our Eliminator picks. We're down to 5 left here in the Eliminator Hot Mic Challenge. Alrighty, so we are down to the final 5 here after what happened last weekend. The Packers sunk a few. The Falcons doomed a couple. So Eric's on board with the Lions. Sam's on with the Chargers. They're playing the Giants. The Jackman is riding with the Bills after he picked the Buccaneers last week. I almost had to break it to him. The Jets were going to win. And we got Matt and Brody are both on the Broncos for their picks. So 5 left. 9 started, and we're left with 5. If everybody loses out, we'll probably have to start this all over again. You cool with that? If we lose early, we could probably start all over again. But those are our eliminator
what do we do
picks.
if there's a tie? Because you didn't pick a loser or a winner.
Well, we'll figure that out. We're not worried. I'm not worried about it yet.
Well, it almost happened, so that's why I'm asking.
You have to pick like the Monday Night Road team or something like that. Maybe we'll do that. Anyway, that's who we got for the Eliminator. All right, we got a lot to cover in what to watch. Let's do it before we get out of here. All right, what to watch is brought to us by Northwestern Mutual. Here we go with high school football tonight. Maple Grove and Moorhead going to be dynamite. That's here on Extra, 6 o'clock tonight. Also on WDAY2 is Cheyenne taking on Davies, 7 o'clock. That's on WDAY2 tonight. We mentioned it's conference play going. These are the 3A games across the state. Keep an eye on that Cheyenne-Davies game. Keep an eye also Mandan and Century. Those always play some dynamite games as well. In 2A football, Minot North stays unbeaten. They're taking on St. Mary's. Kindred goes to Red River. Should be fun as well. Those are the 2A matchups. Also going on, the Ryder Cup. They wrapped up the morning session. The U.S. is down 3-1. That continues on USA. TCU, Arizona State tonight, 8 o'clock on Fox. Tigers and the Red Sox are on Apple TV tonight. Don't forget Bison Game Day, bright and early tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. on WDAY. The game at 1 o'clock. It's homecoming, so USD and NDSU go at 1 o'clock, and then Bison post-game live to wrap it up on WDAY Plus afterwards. Also, don't forget, Vikes play early on Sunday on NFL Network, 8:30. And we got 2 Monday night games to get you ready for when we come back on Monday. Also this weekend, the Ryder Cup continues. The final day of singles, 11 a.m. on NBC on Sunday. And that Oregon-Penn State game should be a dandy, 6:30 on NBC's tomorrow night. Our thanks to Matt Weidler, to my dad, to Eric Schmidt and Cory Provus. If you missed any of the show, you can podcast it later today at Inforum.com. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you at the Dome tomorrow.